but also can make us stronger. I think a lot of it is to our... Ooh. We're going to try that out right now. Ooh. How do you like that? That was a mystery. What is that? Almost smells like dark chocolate or cocoa or something. Steamed up my glasses. You can tell there's coffee in there, right? Look at that. Oh, that's another really good one. You know, it actually tastes like black coffee, except it's got like a hint of cocoa or something to it. I can't quite put my finger on exactly what it is, but it's really good. I can tell you that. Anyway, thank you, Rachel. I really appreciate it. And it's a lot of fun actually to be able to share these with you and on the channel and such. All right. Yeah. Okay. So let's. 19. Okay. All right. So to get started here with Rhondas stories, I want to share. I think the next one up was why I tell my stories. So this one's kind of interesting. She kind of gives a layout to why she's doing this, why she continues to share her stories with us, and so we're going to go through, we'll read that, and then I'll get to her next story. So, all right, so let's get started. Why I tell my stories. I tell my stories because I'm hoping that others can see that there is a God, and there is an other side, and there is different things that we can do that we do not understand on this earth. Maybe we shouldn't judge them, maybe we should. Just go on with the flow and ride, enjoy the ride, and not be so afraid, and just try to understand that some things can make us afraid, but also can make us stronger. I think a lot of it is to our... Ooh. How do you like that? That was a mystery. What is that? Almost smells like dark chocolate or cocoa or something. Steamed up my glasses. You can tell there's coffee in there, right? Look at that. Oh, that's another really good one. You know, it actually tastes like black coffee, except it's got like a hint of cocoa or something to it. I can't quite put my finger on exactly what it is, but it's really good. I can tell you that. Anyway, thank you, Rachel. I really appreciate it. And it's a lot of fun actually to be able to share these with you and on the channel and such. All right, so to get started here with Rhondas stories, I want to share. I think the next one up was why I tell my stories. So this one's kind of interesting. She kind of gives a layout to why she's doing this, why she continues to share her stories with us, and so we're going to go through, we'll read that, and then I'll get to her next story. So, all right, so let's get started. Why I tell my stories. I tell my stories because I'm hoping that others can see that there is a God, and there is an other side, and there is different things that we can do that we do not understand on this earth. Maybe we shouldn't judge them. Maybe we should just go on with the flow and ride, enjoy the ride, and not be so afraid, and just try to understand that some things can make us afraid, but also can make us stronger. I think a lot of it is to our soul to give us what we need to go on into the next life, the next adventure, whatever it might be. I've learned a lot from my encounters. I wouldn't trade it for the world, even though some of the stuff has been terrifying to me, but it's taught me a lot. It's taught me all is possible. It's not a multicultural world, but a multi-dimensional world. And we might as well just enjoy the ride. Try to brave up and not be too afraid, and try to see what we're learning from it, our life, because I think without these experiences, I think I would have went on in my life and not being spiritual as much as I have walked around in my own egotistical way. So yeah, even though these stories are scary, I am glad that I've experienced it. I'm glad that I will probably keep experiencing it in many ways, make me grow. I know I've become a lot more, because who could look at a ghost right in their own house and not really be afraid, and be more of a wonder, who are you and how did you get here? And and hear something in your ear, not 6 inches from your head, and not want to run and keep running and never stop. And who would have some monsters that I've faced and battled with and not be scared to death of that either for the rest of my life? Maybe I'm not such an ordinary person. Is that what I thought? Maybe somewhere there's a deep understanding or connection to all things. However, somehow, some way, maybe I won't ever even understand. I try to look at our experiences, what is teaching me, what am I learning, what I am doing with this information. I am growing from it. Or am I going to run and hide in a closet? Well, I definitely get what you're saying there about your. I understand you're using the experiences not just in your own personal life to understand and become stronger and more confident and humble, but you're also sharing that information with other people to help them. And I think a lot of people out there have had different experiences in their life that have terrified them, and maybe hearing from you can help give them a little bit of solace, knowing that they're going to be okay. You just got to be brave and strong and continue forward and try to learn from these experiences. Okay, so with that said, I am going to look for the next story here. Okay, now this next story is kind of intense. Wow, I mean, I'll let you guys be the judge of that, but it's titled My Ex-Husband. And here we go. When I was just over 16 years old, I had to get married. I was pregnant with a child back then. I guess I wasn't too smart. I was just a young child. Parents suggested that I get married, so we did. He lived in Oshawa, Ontario. Mr. Randy, I will not say his last name, was a very nasty man, boy. He was 19 years old. I was only going on 17. Matter of fact, I turned 17 before the baby was born. Randy used to love to grab me by the hair and pull me backwards up the stairs and do all kinds of mean things to me. I felt trapped. I felt like I couldn't run away or get away from him. He was so abusive to me. Just because his coffee was too hot or too cold, it was a reason to put him in a bad mood, or the baby would be crying. He was nasty. He would take the baby bottle and smash them against the wall right above the baby and shatter the glass all over on the baby. We lived upstairs at his mother's attic. We made an apartment up there. One day I could hear ghosts talking to one another upstairs. We used to hear ghosts now and then talking to each other there. Randy wanted to harm me. He grabbed me and I ran up the stairs quickly just before I reached the top, and I turned around to go around the corner of the banister, and I seen Randy get picked up in the air and thrown back down the staircase. That was the first time I ever knew that a ghost could harm a person. After that, he used to have dreams that he was being strangled in his sleep, and he often would go to walk down the stairs and a ghost would give him a little extra shove. Then we moved out of that place because he was scared of the ghosts. I finally left him when I was 18 years old, going on 19. Wow, yeah, that's terrible. I mean, I'm glad you got out of that relationship. It's a good thing you did get out when you did. I hope you didn't have to deal with him any longer after that. Talk about friendly ghosts, friendly, unfriendly ghosts. They were looking out for you, but not for him. Yeah, I guess he got what he deserved on that one, didn't he? All right, let's get on to the next one. This one's titled The Child Ghost. After my brain tumor, I was still living in the same house. It was about a year later. A new family was moving in next door. I could hear them rustling around. I didn't know who it was. Probably about 9 o'clock that night, I went to bed, and then I was woke up by some banging around. And there was this girl with braids in her hair. Before I could say, "Who are you?" she says, "Hi, I am so-and-so," but I don't remember what her name was. She says, "I'm not alive anymore. My little brother's name is Keegan, and his little sister's name is Holly." And she said he had an older brother, but he didn't live with them, and her mom's name was Rhonda. And she said her mom is very sad because I died, and my mom can't seem to get over it, and Holly is very sad because my mom's not being there for her childhood mentally. So I don't know what's going on, maybe, or what to do, and how it's going to be able to comfort. So I was wondering myself, how can I comfort this lady with this tragic death of her daughter? So the next day I went over there and I introduced myself. I said, "You don't know me, but I know you well, and I know about you, and your name is Keegan. Her name is Heidi, and you're Wanda." She looked at me very shocked, and I don't blame her. And then I explained how I knew. I said, "Your daughter came over to see me and told me all about your family. And she wanted you to know that she's very happy where she is, happy as she can be. She wants you to start acknowledging your daughter Heidi again, and maybe consider getting some kind of mental help to help you get a grip on on the death of Wanda." I become pretty good friends with her. My daughter had started babysitting for her later on. Wanda went to nursing school and became a nurse after that summer and moved out, and I never did see them again. Once I seen Heidi, she was all grown up. She said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "Yes, you're Heidi. Your mom's Wanda. Your brother's Keegan." She says, "Yes. I wasn't sure if you would remember us." And I said, "Of course I would." I said, "How's life been for you?" She said, "It's been great. I'm going to college soon." That was the last time I ever saw Heidi. So then I knew that my newfound gift would be helping people, rather they are dead or alive, or whatever situation that their life was in, to be helping them. First of all, I thought that maybe God had chose the wrong person for this job, but now I'm quite used to it, and I guess he did choose the right person. Would take no animosity against it. If they were dead or alive, people needing help and having no judgment on who or what their situation is. I was told by God that it is a gift in itself to be able to not freak out and to be able to accept the task at hand. Very interesting. It's good that you were there for that family. I mean, that's a horrible situation to lose a child, and to be able to get some kind of peace from that is a great thing. Being able to help people. All right, Rhondas next. This is real short. This one she titled "Vampire." We don't get enough vampire stories. Anybody else have any vampire stories they want to send in? I mean, that would be really interesting. We talk about a lot of cryptids, but we don't talk too much about vampires. I'd like to hear more. All right. Both the year of 1989, I was sleeping on my mat in front room because I could not sleep in the bedroom. I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning. I felt like something was breathing hot fire on me.
So I woke up, and when I woke up, I looked. Then I saw this vampire, an old ancient looking vampire. When I saw it, I quickly rolled off from the mat onto the carpet. And at the time I looked again, it was gone. And then you wonder, wow, what was that? How did that happen? My daughter used to have a vampire child be at the window asking her to come out and play with it. She told me about this child. I don't know how or when this type of an entity actually entered our lives, but it seems to go away as quick as that came into our lives. Just one day, we never seen anything like it again. Well, that's probably a good thing. I mean, it's not something you want to see. Now, do you think it was a vampire, or do you think it was a spirit? Do you think it was a shapeshifter? You know, what could that have been? All right, I am back. So I had to take a little intermission there. The power company just showed up to hook up the main power. So I had pigtailed from the 110, 100 amp box, I should say, from the 100 amp box that was here originally to my 200 amp box that I had installed so that I could run, lights and have power in here. So they just came and switched it over and hooked up the 200 amp service. So now I reversed that pigtail so that that 100 amp box is still powered, because that's where the power is going to our camper right now. So pretty soon I'll be able to eliminate that. I think I'll even install a camper plug somewhere on the house, just in case we ever run into a situation, anything like this, or if anybody ever wants to come out here, because it's a beautiful country area. If anybody ever wants to come out here with their camper and stay, so we'll see how that goes. But while I was waiting for him, I had a bunch of all the scrap lumber from the framing that I have yet to have a chance to start picking up. So I picked up about a half a pickup truck load of that and put it in my little pickup truck. I put it in the back of my little pickup truck, and so I can get rid of that. But that's going to be used for our upcoming campfire stories when we get to them. All right. So for now, let's get back to Rhonda's stories here and see what else we got. Pretty sure we got some more here. All right, this one is WTF. My daughter and her husband one night, they went out for a night of drinking. They always stop off at the 7-Eleven on the way back home because they're pretty hungry after they drink. It was a regular thing most people around here did. She walked into the 7-Eleven, and the only ones that were in there was an old man, her and her husband, and they got their stuff. A big pile of food, and the old man was standing in front of them paying for his food. They're there waiting for him, and then to their surprise, the old man turned around and looked at them and had changed completely to my daughter's ex-boyfriend. They both jumped back in a state of shock, especially when this apparition spoke to them. They didn't speak back, but were wide-eyed, freaked out, and left through the door. They looked at each other and said, "What in the hell was that?" And the lady at the counter was just as stunned as they were. All three of them saw this old man change into the other man. It didn't take them long to jump into the cab and hurry back home and lock the door. They were kind of freaked out by the whole thing. Yeah, I don't blame them for being freaked out about that. That would be scary. That's absolutely wild. This one is named Something Touched Me. This is about my brother and my mom and her husband and his friend Barry. Bill went camping out at a place called Peckham's Lake. This is just outside of Cranbrook in Kimberly area. I think the year was probably 1980 or maybe earlier. Set up camp. They had a lot to put their sleeping bags out in the back of the truck, Barry and Carl. They planned on sleeping on the back of the pickup. They always did that. Mom and I were sleeping in the tent trailer. At around 1 o'clock in the morning, my brother was sleeping and something put his hand over his face. He said it was like a wet mop, and it smelled like a wet mop. He thought it could be Barry, I think I meant to say Barry playing around with him. But then as soon as it stopped touching his face, he opened his eyes and looked over at it. Barry was fast asleep. He had his gun sleeping right next to his head, as he used to sleep with his gun. It's a wonder he didn't kill himself. After the incident, Mom heard something out there, and she said, "Carl, is that you?" But he was busy having that thing touching his face at the time and didn't dare speak out. But then as soon as it was gone, he said to Mom, "There's something out there," and it touched my face. It felt my face all around like it was trying to figure out what I was. Mom and I saw the shadow of it. They said it was huge, whatever it was, and it was wide, and Tiny was all of 350-pound man. So if he says it's wide, yeah, it was wide, because they knew what wide was. After that incident, Carl never went back to Peckham's Lake, and neither did Mom or Tiny. They were pretty convinced there was just something strange going on out there, and they didn't want to be harmed or whatever it was, by whatever it was. It really freaked my brother out, and not much freaks him out, even as an avid hunter, but that freaked him out. Haha, yeah, sure. If something reached over my face like that, wet and smelly, and yeah, that's enough to freak you out. I'm thinking Bigfoot. I mean, come on, what else could that possibly be? Wet. Ugh. It's a good thing you didn't grab him by the face and drag him out. All right, well, that's the last story that Rhonda has sent in to me so far. So I'm going to get them up, and she just has some comments on some of the other stuff that's on here, and some more of her cats she shares with me. But I'm going to wrap that up for now, or it's going to get too long. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed her stories, and thank you again for coming back by. That's going to be it for me for now. I'm going to finish my coffee, and I will see you again real soon. Oh, come on in, buddy.